So I now have the honor of introducing a scientist that you all know well, and who has become a very dear friend of mine, and that's Jay Grier, Dr. Jay Grier. Jay has a PhD in planetary science from the University of Arizona that they got in 1997, and they have noted work in aging raid craters on the moon, as well as fluvial channels on Mars. Jay has a long interest in EPO and particularly inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. This is, like I say, been a strong theme of surveys and a huge personal interest of mine. There's nothing more important. I want to say that again. Most importantly, from my point of view, is that Jay has been the extremely able lead for the survey EDIA focus group, and has really made some really huge strides in our moving forward in this most important area. So I would like to, I'm hoping that Jay is on. Yes, good. And I'd like to now turn it over to Jay for a few words on this important area. Jay, it's great to see you.
Hello, Greg. Thank you very much. Can you hear me all right, Greg?
Yes, yes,
Excellent.
absolutely.
Excellent, thank you. I'd like to start by thanking a bunch of people, which is kind of the Academy Awards approach. Thank you so much to Greg and Christina. It is as always an honor to be a part of this group, and to be able to speak to this group is even more so. And I'd also like to thank, many people may know I'm coming back from an extended medical leave. And I would very much like to thank a ton of people who supported me through this. My PI on Survey Treks, Amanda Hendricks, and my theme lead, Maria Banks. My partner in the workshop that's coming up. Disability has been on my mind a lot recently for a number of reasons. Through Treks, I and the expert and indispensable work of Sandlin Buxner will be presenting in a workshop on science, lunar science for disabled science writers. I'm all flustered now because people are crying on the screen, and I'm thinking, good grief now. So I'm trying to resist that. But I also appreciate, since I'm talking about science and exploration as a human endeavor, and bringing our full humanity into this process, that emotion is part of being human, and I appreciate seeing us express ourselves as humans. To continue some thanks, thank you to Parvati Prem, Jacob Richardson, and Kayla Berry, who have been helping to keep going some of the initiatives with the EDIA focus group. And I'd also like to thank a few other folks, but I will thank them later on the forum call. So I'm also would like to give a land acknowledgement. I am currently speaking from and am adjacent to ancestral lands of Iroquois-speaking Susquehannock peoples and Algonquin-speaking peoples of the Piscataway Indian Nation and the Piscataway Conoy tribe, and of unceded lands. And I acknowledge that this is from where I am speaking to you today. So I got up, and of course I'm here. I'm like, okay, let's go. This is it. This is the forum. Let's do this. I get up, get myself all gussied up, and I look in the mirror and I say, I'm wearing a cardigan sweater and a tie. I have become Bob Strom. It's been a personal goal, since I was 17. Where's my pipe? So and as much as I miss the pipe, do you remember? Right. So this was 86 or something, and so we could smoke, right? And I mean, not that I smoked, but Bob had a pipe, Bob smoked, people smoked in the office, which now would be so incongruous. You'd walk into an office and see somebody sitting there with a cigarette and a pipe. And I, as much as I miss the smell of it, I certainly do actually miss the smell of pipe smoke. I have asthma, and I'm do not miss not being able to breathe in the office. And for some people, smoke was just an annoyance. For other people, of course, it was both a potential, health issue in terms of air quality, and for people like myself, especially since my asthma was undiagnosed at the time, it made the work environment really difficult. Any office that I would go into or any place of work, and it was really common back in the day. So these changes that we are making, both in our larger society and in our profession, sometimes people don't recognize. If you don't have that disability or you don't have that concern, you don't realize some of the importance of it. And so I wanted to touch back on some of the disability things as I kind of go through some of my thoughts today. So we are the planetary exploration community, and we've succeeded in astonishingly difficult and daring endeavors, including putting humans on the moon. And we're going to do it again. It was really exciting to hear Greg speak of the place that Survey is looking forward to in terms of supporting Artemis, and doubtless in supporting many aspects of exploration and lunar small bodies, and all of us in one way or another, and in our extended community, exploration of the solar system and beyond. We're going to do it again, right? We're going to do that, and we're going to do so much more. And while we may not have been the people who were there when it happened, just thinking about Bob again, from whom many of us got our inspiration, of people who were active and on the ground during the Apollo years. This is something that is our heritage. We've inherited this. We are the people who are doing this now. We are the people who are going to be doing this in the future. And we are training the next generation who's going to be doing it after us. This is our heritage. It is our responsibility. And we are the ones who are going to continue to do astonishingly difficult and daring things. And we are rightly charged to recognize that the nature of exploration is human exploration. It uses human skills, human sweat and tears. It's human courage, human dreams, human hearts, and human souls. Exploration we created exploration. We created it. It's for us. It's exploration, we don't exist for exploration. Exploration exists for us. Unless, of course, we've created something like Frankenstein's monster now and it's running amok. Hopefully not. So it's ours and it's for us. Humans are not a product or a commodity or a number. We're not merely explorers. We're the entire reason for the exploring. We are diverse in every way, and we all require equitable opportunities to be a part of this. This is one of the most exciting and amazing of any human adventure. So if we want to look at this as a human endeavor, that means all ways in which humans are people, all the ways in which we are humans in our humanity, in every possible way. And it isn't just a part of it. You might say, well, does that mean I'm saying everybody needs to go to another planet? No. Most people, it might come as a surprise to our community, of course, since a lot of us have dreamed about the opportunity to go to another planet since we were young. Some people in our community have done that, which is still an amazing thing to think of. Also amazing, like I said before, that we're going to do it again. But most people don't want to go to another planet. They want to keep their feet firmly on the ground here on Earth. And we rightly recognize that this is our home. The idea that the Earth is something that we supersede, it doesn't work. This is our base. It always will be. There is no platform here. It's not really a launching place. This is our home. This is where everything that it means to be human is and will be. While we may dip our toes in the ocean, as Carl Sagan said, we will still be here on this earth always. And it's here that we learn how to do everything we're trying to do in space. And it's here that we've made many mistakes that we're hoping not to also do in space. True human exploration means every kind of human. It's not merely one gender or one race. It doesn't exclude based on age or size or disability or sexual orientation or religion or any other category under which humans might list themselves. All of that is human. And if we want to succeed in the human exploration of planets, we have to bring our humanity with us. And our goal is to create and sustain a community that embraces and supports and rejoices in human difference And it's absolutely achievable. It isn't about tolerating, it's about actually realizing that this is who we are and what we are. And that the only way to succeed in exploration is to do it with all of humanity and all of our humanity. So thinking about disability, for example, in a tiny little example, which I can, the thing I know best is my own self talking about disability. And I have several of them. As I mentioned, asthma, which has been something that was diagnosed late on in my life. And I did not realize I was grappling with it for later on anyway, 30 years, getting older than, that. But there are others. And we, as a society, and again, I'm just looking at disability as one example of diversity. But we as a society are very uncomfortable with it. It's a reminder of the fact that humans are mortal, and it's a reminder that that many of the constraints that are put on us by our society, as I mentioned before, the nature of us, that we feel we must always be productive, that we feel that we must always produce or commodify, that we feel we must always be able to count or register or form statistics. These things are an aspect of our processing, the way we approach our humanity. But in the end, we are not those things. No construct of our minds, say a corporation or a school or any other kind of construct like that, none of those things actually have the souls. We have the souls. The souls are right here in the human beings. And it's those that are responsible for this dream. It is the dream, right? To do this exploration. And we're, don't let anybody tell you that what we're thinking of doing here, what we're trying to do here, which is this, as I said, we're going to create and sustain a community that embraces and supports and rejoices in human difference. And we've gone a long way to doing this. So we know, so again, don't let anybody tell you it's too difficult. We know we can do it. We absolutely know we can do it. We love a challenge, right? Everyone in this field, we love a challenge. Part of the reason many of us are here is because we are competitive. We enjoy looking at something and saying, "Oh yeah, we can do that. We're gonna figure that out." In many ways, it's not the challenge or the difficulty at all. When we have our minds on a dream, we don't sit there and think, "Well, that's going to be too hard." We think, "All right, what do we need to do to move that barrier and make it happen?" And then we do. So we can absolutely move this barrier and make it happen. We can reach the moon and far beyond. We absolutely can meet this challenge. And as Greg was saying, this is something that is near and dear to his heart and is becoming an intrinsic and inextricable part of the structure of how we work in Survey and beyond. And when I talk about these things, the specifics of what it means to support, what it means to embrace, and what it means to rejoice in human difference, and all of these things, it comes, at the moment, we're trying to put your mind around a huge concept, right? We're looking at equity, diversity, inclusion, accessibility. It's really big, and very nuanced. So looking again at this little example like myself and trying to look in that small lens, just coming back from a medical leave, which I've done before. This time it was for a physical disability, temporary physical disability, but I also have a permanent mental disability and atypical, neural atypical person. The reason why I have been able to stay in this field in spite of disabilities is because there's several factors. And the key one, the absolute key one, is support of my friends and family and colleagues. I have tremendous support from the people that my friends, people I see every day, my spouse, and from the people I work with. We are in an incredible community of people, and I'm grateful for it every single day that I get to work in this incredible field with people who see everything that I can offer and who alter their situations, and really go out of their way to make sure that I can stay engaged. But looking at that, why is it that we need to have somebody or a group of people go out of their way when all of us at one point or another will be disabled, whether that's temporarily or permanently? We are all going to age, and we are all aging. The idea that we have that disability might be for somebody else is a bit of denial. It's not, it's everyone at one point or another. And I'm asked when I give talks about disability, and I've mentioned this in our focus group, when people say you want to take disability into space, like do you want to launch disabled people into space? And I said, well, we already have, right? If humans go, disability goes. And it's not like that's something that we can excise or package or box up and remove or treat or anything like that. It is the nature of humanity. And it's one of those things that's inextricable to us. Not only do people with various disabilities, may leave the planet and be a part of exploration, there are plenty of things in space that may cause temporary or permanent disability as well. Stories about eyesight, for example, in microgravity and how that changes rapidly. The definition of disability itself changes. And people have talked about very much how in microgravity, the legs are kind of in your way, that they're really kind of unnecessary and kind of be nice just to have 4 arms instead. The idea of space normal. I mean, if you have a time on Earth when you're not feeling well, a little queasy, if that happens to you in microgravity, that's space normal. Of course you're queasy. You're in space. It is within our power to change our definition of disability and how we work with it, and what we think of is regular or normal. Although I think those concepts are probably not as valuable as we think they are. The idea of normalcy. So I think part of what I'm trying to get across here is this idea that I am thoroughly grateful for all of the help that has made it possible for me to continue to be in this field. But I have sacrificed a great deal, and others have sacrificed a great deal to make that happen. And it means that people who have not been as fortunate as me are not here because they were unable to stay because of the barriers that were put in front of them. It shouldn't be that people have to go out of their way or make a special effort to include people. It should be that our systems are designed for this in advance, and we can do that. It's like I said, it's not going to be easy, and we are embedded in a larger society that makes this a great challenge because those things exist in our society as well. For example, I wouldn't, right now my health insurance comes through my spouse. I don't have the option to do that through my current situation. So there are, really some serious challenges that can come up in this position. But we do also support ourselves. I'd like to, mention that Jamie Malaro had started the DAIS group, which is a group for disabled access in science. And this is a group of people who are themselves disabled or see themselves in some aspect of being in that phase space, who have come together for support and to share information. But again, that's sort of us supporting ourselves and trying to change things for ourselves, when as a person who suffers any kind of marginalization in society, you're already putting out a great deal of effort. And again, it becomes more of a strain on yourself. And the idea that has been created, this idea of spoons, your emotional energy or your physical energy or your verve. How much verve do you get that day? Every day you wake up and say, all right, what do I have for spoons? How am I going to spend these spoons? Because I don't have a lot. Some days I have a few, some days I have more. Some days I think I'm going to have a lot and I get halfway through the day and I'm out of spoons. And it becomes a huge problem when you look and you say, why am I working under a situation where that is the determinator of whether or not I'm going to produce science today? There are ways that we can change these structures. And people in DAIS group, for example, are addressing some of those issues about how we can do that. But again, this is a conversation that isn't going to be at its best unless it includes everybody, and in which people understand that the basis for why we're doing this is because we believe that humans are the reason. We aren't exploring for the sake of exploration. We're exploring for the sake of humans. And there isn't one kind of human. And there are all kinds of human, because every single person is unique and different. And that's important. And it's not because we're placing a value judgment on it. While it is absolutely true that when we increase the diversity of groups, they become more creative, more dynamic, more energetic, and their morale goes up and their job satisfaction goes up. All that's true, but that's not the reason. That's not the reason. We're really glad that happens. Everybody wants to have increased job satisfaction, but it's because that is who we are. That is what we are, is diversity. So we have to be equitable, and we have to include it, and we have to make it accessible for everybody. So I'm going to sort of close up by just saying, so let's bend our minds to a true human exploration of the solar system and the universe. And it starts right here on Earth, and it's going to, in many ways, always stay right here on Earth. And this is the place where we are going to figure out how to do it. This is the place where we've made mistakes that we do not want to bring with us into space, that we want to solve, and problems that we wish to solve. And we want to learn how to go into space as full humans, representing ourselves as humans, representing all people as humans, and live out this dream that humanity has always had. That's it. Thank you.
Jay, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for those very inspiring words. There is a reason why you were the first speaker. My turn to get emotional.
Did I make you cry?
I told you it was going to affect me.
Sorry.
There's nothing, I want to make it clear, there's nothing more important than this for what our institute is doing. It's a human endeavor. The science is fabulous. The human exploration is fabulous, but it's a human endeavor. And thank you for articulating that so eloquently. I want to say that we are putting our money where our mouth is and working closely with headquarters. And I want to call out Ryan Watkins here, who you're going to hear from on a different topic a little bit later, for starting this big push for her PRISM program. But we, in our announcement that is in signature right now for Survey, are pushing IDEA, inclusion, diversity, equity, accessibility, further than any other NASA announcement in history. Think about that. And I am so proud to be part of this team that's doing it. It's the right thing. So I think that we are actually out of time for this session. Jay, thanks again so much for getting us started. And I'm going to turn it over to my session co-chair, Christina, to introduce the next speakers. Thanks.